So today, with all of my friends at favequilts.com, I'm really excited to show you all about something that I've been learning recently, and that's rag quilts. And I had no idea what a rag quilt was. I had seen them, but I didn't really know how you put them together. They look kind of crazy on the outside, but so simple, so easy, and I love these kinds of quilts because they don't need to be bound. And everybody knows how hard binding can be, especially if you're beginning, like me. But I just want to show you how easy it is to go ahead and put together. So what I've already gone and done is chosen 6 different Christmas prints of fabric, and I've cut them all out into 6.5-inch squares. And this is a 6-inch square with 1/4-inch seam allowances on all sides, so it's 6.5 inches. But you don't need this particular 6.5-inch square. You can have them any size that you wanted. But I just wanted to make sure that my square really got a lot of the print of the fabric on it, so you could see that it was a snowman or a penguin or a reindeer or something like that. You don't want to cut them too small and get rid of your print. But what I've also done is taken some regular unbleached muslin, and I've cut it into 6.5-inch squares too. And what you do is just create a little sandwich, and the muslin is going to act like your batting. So what I've done is paired all my fabrics up how I want them. And you just take one piece and make sure the right side is down. Sandwich in a layer of muslin. And then take the top piece. Now you'll notice that I have prints going in a certain direction. Santa is going up. So you want to make sure that on the other side that the snowmen are going in the same direction. That's really important, because if you don't, when you turn it around or when you look at it, it might be a little funny on the other side. But then you'll just take another layer, another pair of fabrics, right sides on the outside, remember that. Piece of muslin sandwiched in. And then looking to see, Christmas trees are going up, so Santa needs to go in the same direction. So what you'll do with all of your little sandwich squares is you'll take them and you'll pair them like this. And remember, once you do this on the outside, that is going to be what you see. So if you sew up here, your square is going to end up looking like this. But I'll show you that when you get to the machine. But you're going to sew with a 5/8-inch seam allowance. And I'll just show you how easy that is, and then you join everything all together. So just go ahead and take your sewing machine and set it for a straight stitch, and whatever standard stitch it goes to should be fine. Stitch length, I should say, right around a 3 or a 4. 4 is really nice, actually. And then you're just going to go ahead and line up with your 5/8 inch and sew. Now make sure the back stitch here. Really important to secure those seams. So all the way down. Back stitch at the end, and there you go. Now you cut that out and you'll have your raw edge just like this. Now what you'll do next is take your next piece and sandwich it in right there. Make sure it's not one that you already have. Here you go, and sandwich the two together. Making sure that the edge of sewing is on the right side. So see how you have this sewn edge right here? You should be good. You wouldn't want to flip this inside out. So just go ahead and sew with a 5/8-inch seam allowance all around. Back stitch at the beginning and end. And you'll just create your chain as long as you want, just like that. Now what I already have is a little chain of fabric, and let me just go ahead and make sure that you can see this very well. But I've already created a chain of fabric to attach to my sewing project. So what I'm going to do is just lay it down long way so I can lay it out. I'm going to attach it to right there. And what you do, simply make sure that, check everything. Oh, nope, it's the wrong way. Make sure that every time you sew, you have the prints going in the right direction. And you'll just line everything up just like that, edges straight like that. And you'll sew this with a 5/8 inch seam allowance to connect your chains. And it's just that easy. And you keep doing that on and on and on for however long, however big you want this quilt. Now because this is just a baby quilt, I'm not using any pins because I don't like to use pins that often. But this is such a nice project to do without pins. But what you're going to do is just secure the edges with your presser foot and line everything up again. Make sure it's all nice and flush. And you see how you have all the raw edges visible, so you know you're sewing on the right side. And make sure that you back stitch. Five-eighths inch seam allowance. Now when you come to these layers, and sometimes you can drop your needle down just so you don't lose your spot, it's nice to kind of help the sewing machine just a little bit. So hold on to the back, and if you notice a little hesitation, just kind of help it move along. You don't want to break the needle though, so be careful helping too much. Go slow. Sew right over it. Continue all the way down. And there you go. So now what you have, something that looks like this, and you can see how fast this is going to grow. But now you have all these raw edges, and what do you do with them? Well, you take your scissors and you just go in and you start snipping them, and this is what creates the rag. Now you'll notice that you might want to free all the edges that you've sewn down just to let them move. And then you just take this seam and cut right up to the edge of sewing. And it's just that easy. And sometimes I like to use the part of the scissors down here closer to the base, just because that doesn't get used as often as the tips, and it's often a lot sharper. So just cut, every 1/4 of an inch and give yourself that lovely texture. Now one thing, when you've gotten your quilt as large as you want it, what you're going to want to do, and I'll just show you really fast, is go ahead and go over to the sewing machine and sew a 5/8 inch seam all around the edge of the quilt. So just go ahead and look, line yourself up, and this can go really fast, but make sure you back stitch at the beginning. Put down your needle and pivot. Now if you've gone over a little too far, what you can do is back stitch just a little bit. Drop down your needle. Go down a little bit more. And pivot now. But because I'm not done with this quilt, I'm just going to stop right there. But even right now, I could go ahead and snip a little bit with the scissors just to show you. And I would free my edges just like before. And sometimes you'll see that you're actually cutting, you're going to lose some fabric. So go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and snip. And just like before, sometimes closer to the base of the scissors is the sharpest part. But just go ahead and trim to your heart's content. But anyways, this is it. This is just how easy rag quilts are and just how fun. And I hope you give it a try. And I hope you like it. Thanks.